Well, management is under pressure today, as all of you know, more pressure than ever to deliver better margins, greater revenue, and increased cash flow to support product research and improve shareholder value. Now, this cuts across all industries. What we've seen in the electronics and high-tech industries, for instance, is a lot of growth. In-house growth through R&D and growth through let's say, acquisitions and divestitures. So as a result, companies have inherited a lot of different systems, processes, and cultures that have to be harmonized. The key to operating efficiency is gaining this harmonization, pulling all this data together, getting all your processes to communicate, sharing quality data, and so forth. This is where enterprise quality management systems come in. Joining us today to talk a little bit about EQS and some of the issues companies are facing is Mohan Ponnudurai. He is an industry solution director at Sparta Systems Product Management Group. Thanks for joining us today. Mohan, just jump right in on you there.
Thank you. How are you?
Good. How are you doing? Good afternoon.
Great. So, Mohan, describe to us briefly what are kind of the key issues that companies are facing today for lack of integrated quality systems and being able to tie into their, I think you call them pillar systems.
A lot of the companies, when they started the quality management system, it came out of necessity. So what happened is it was driven locally from a departmental level. So at the end of the day, it became a hodgepodge of manual systems, internally developed systems, standalone point solutions. So really all the data is sitting in different silos of databases. So just like you talked about before, you have all the data sitting there, but if you can't use the data to provide the useful information to make timely decisions, that data is useless. So that is the main problem now. Again, as you said about the globalization and the broader supply chains and things, those components make these problems even greater because now you have many more stakeholders that you have to deal with, more complex products, broader markets, and different demographics of customers. So now you have really exaggerated the problem by having those singular solutions. So that's the reason that we say that you need to have a fully integrated enterprise quality management system that links in with the other business critical functions or pillar systems. So this way you get the value and you get the useful information to make timely decisions.
And what are, when you say pull all this, when we were talking earlier at the top here, pulling all this data together, what is some of the data that might be kind of the most critical for companies at this juncture in order to make sure that they're reducing their risk and so forth?
Well, it's a very simple thing is, when you look at a typical manufacturer, there's a lot of suppliers. So there's a lot of incoming parts. There's a lot of moving parts going on before it goes into the final assembly or production. So when the incoming comes, there's some problem. Now you have to make sure that you have to quarantine it, contain it, find what the problem is, find the source of the problem so you can determine how much of that incoming you can use, how much of that you had to return back. And when you return back, you want to make sure your ERP or the enterprise resource planning system knows what kind of accounting it has to do to get the credit for it. And at the same time, also let the manufacturing systems know, all right, I have X out of the Y amount of parts that is usable. So here you are, you can use it for production. Now, from the other side, now you have found the problem. You want to make sure that you want to determine what the problem is, what the root causes, what the corrective actions. Now you want to involve different areas of your groups. It could be product design group, it could be field service, it could be suppliers. So now all those people have to come in to join hands to create that cohesiveness to get the common solutions done. Now this is only one incident. Now multiply this by hundreds of suppliers and multiply this by dozens of products and different lot numbers and product numbers. Now you see what the problem that you have in your hands with all the different data sitting in different places.
So Mohan, you describe in your article a 5-step process for EQM, and to me when I read that I immediately of course thought of DMAIC. So talk a little bit about how EQM can integrate with some of the language of quality that many people might be familiar with, like Six Sigma as an example, or Lean, or ISO. How would it integrate with some of those methodologies?
Good question. When we talk about quality management and the business processes, what we really say is you want to have a system that is variable, that you can do different types of process workflow based on the problem you have at hand. So some of the low priority, low value problems, you may not have to go through all those multiple steps. So you can do a simple investigation, root cause analysis, find the actions, and you're done. But for more complex, high value, high critical items, like you said about DMAIC process or the other one that is used for very frequently by the 8D or Six Sigma groups is the 8D process, which is, again, it's got more components to it. So it's more detailed, more process, more formalized steps that you go through. So you can determine, based on the business rules that is defined, what kind of process that you want to go through based on the problem at hand. So the idea behind the EQMS and providing this multitude of variability in workflow is so that one size doesn't fit all. It doesn't fit all for every problem. It doesn't fit all for every customer, every business. So you want to be able to do that configuration capability so that you can address different needs in a different way.
Great. Well, Mohan, thanks for that. We're going to move on here, but I really appreciate your time here today. We're going to be talking to you again in just a few days on Wednesday. Get a deeper dive into this topic in a webinar we're going to be doing with Sparta at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Pacific, and that's on the 12th. So we'll see you then, Mohan. Thanks again for joining us.
You're welcome. Looking forward to seeing you later.
Good.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon.